Mouths of the Crawling Mind, a 5-part series. Does your mind ever betray you? Twist reality until you feel like madness is your only companion? Mine does. My mind runs like a beast unchained, thoughts gnawing at the edges, memories bleeding into hallucinations. I chase it, always behind, trying to drag it into stillness. But it refuses to slow, it hungers. This series, Mouths of the Crawling Mind, was born from that chaos, from the dark corners I often fear to look into. It's a gift, or maybe a warning, a way for me to reach out to the others like me, the haunted, the overrun, the broken, to those who've looked into their reflection and seen something else, staring back. I made this for you, for us. To my shadows, the faithful ones who've stayed with me through the silence, through the void, even when I vanished into the storm. You didn't abandon me, you stood beside me in the gloom. Your presence a whisper of hope in a world that often forgets the lost. And for that, I am grateful in ways the light will never understand. This is not just horror. This is confession. This is survival. This is our mind made manifest. Let the darkness embrace your soul. Forever bound in the darkness. Nocturnal Sindicate. And the mouths, they are always hungry. Let the darkness embrace your soul. Forever bound in the darkness. Nocturnal Syndicate. Mouths of the Crawling Mind, Part 1. The whisper in the bowl of flies. They left me in the room with no corners. Just white. Endless white. But not clean. No, it stank of old milk and fierce sweat. There was a bowl, ceramic, chipped. They said if I was good, they'd fill it with soup. They never did, but the flies came. Oh yes, they came like priests to a funeral, and the bowl became holy. They buzzed, not random, not chaos, language. And I listened. The whisper came after the 7th day, when the last light blinked out of the ceiling and the walls began to breathe. It didn't come from outside. It came from under the bowl. It said, "You are not the sickness. You are the cure they fear." And suddenly, I understood. The bowl wasn't for soup, it was for screaming into. I screamed until my teeth came out, offered them as tithe to the flies. They danced. They blessed me. Now I hum their scripture through cracked lips. They gave me my first mouth. The whisper's mouth. The one that sees the rot in others, the one that names the filth. I have 4 more mouths to grow. Each one will speak a truth worse than the last. And when all 5 are open, I will be complete. And the walls will fall, and the world will scream into my bowl.
Mouth of the Crawling Mind, Part 2. The teeth beneath the fever.
The fever came 3 days after the bowl cracked. They said I had nothing. Said the tests were clear, but my skin boiled with truths only my second mouth could taste. It began in my gums, teeth shifted, multiplied, crowded. I could feel them growing inward, biting down on thought. My tongue tried to warn them, but it was too late. The second mouth had formed. This one doesn't whisper, it gnashes. It feeds on hallucination, on flickering things in the corner of your eye. It eats moments you thought you remembered and replaces them. I told the doctor I had dreams of meat weeping in rows, and she smiled like a god with no face. The second mouth showed me her skull, not with eyes, but with heat. Everything red, everything steaming. I wanted to bite, I needed to bite, so I did. And the screams she made, it fed the mouth. It fed me. They strapped me down after that. They burned my bed, but it didn't matter. The fever never left. It became me. Now I burn in rhythms, tremble in divine spasms. The second mouth sings when no one listens. It tells me, there is no you left to burn, only the hunger remains. And that hunger has a shape, a smile with too many centers. I've forgotten my own name, but I remember the taste of their fear. There are 3 mouths left to bloom, 3 deeper evils to erupt. And when the last is born, my breath will no longer be my own. It will belong to the plague, to the rot, to the mouth of fire. And it will speak your name when it finds you.
Mouth of the Crawling Mind, Part 3. The choir in the walls. I thought the second mouth was the worst, but then the walls began to sing. They didn't hum or moan or creak. They sang. It began as a whisper I couldn't place, then a vibration in the bones of my ears, then words, ancient and sweet, like honeycomb from a corpse's throat. I pressed my ear to the wall, and I heard them singing of famine and worms, of children with sharpened teeth, of saints who drowned themselves in grave water. They sang my name backwards, and it hurt to hear the third mouth open without flesh. It opened in my hearing, not a hole, a gate. Now I hear everything wrong. Every breath a threat, every word a curse, every silence a scream no one survives. Tore open my ears just to quiet them. But the songs came from within, and the third mouth fed. It feasts on sound, it drinks truth from syllables. It chews the music of pain and the walls. They love me now. They want me to be the next stanza, so I speak only in echoes, My voice is no longer mine. It's part of the harmony. I saw notes made of blood float from my mouth and smear themselves onto the walls like new scripture. The doctors don't enter my room anymore. They say the walls won't allow it. The other patients, they hum now, all of them. We are becoming the choir. The third mouth opens in them too. It wants us to be an orchestra of decay. 3 mouths now, 3 instruments of rot. 2 more and the melody ends. 2 more and the symphony devours. I ask the voices in the wall what the last note will sound like. They laughed. They wept. They said it sounds like silence. Breathing.
Mouths of the Crawling Mind, Part 4. The eye that eats the light. I stopped seeing the world as it is. After the third mouth opened, my vision began to fracture. Not blur, shatter. Colors weep. Shadows stalk their casters. Faces ripple like dead water, but worst of all are the holes. Places where reality wears thin like old skin peeled back to show bone. They hover in corners, hang over door frames, curl beneath my fingernails, and from them, something watches. I don't mean in the metaphorical sense, I mean it watches with hunger, with purpose, and it opened the fourth mouth, not on my skin, not in my voice, but in my sight. Now I see what should not be seen. I see sound crawling like ants. I see decay dancing across smiles. I see truths writhing beneath eyelids. But the worst, I see people who aren't people. They wear skin like theater masks. They move like memory, but stutter like film burning in a projector. I tried to blind myself, I did. I clawed until blood bubbled from the sockets. But the fourth mouth sees from within. It watches through the cracks in my mind. It glares at God and finds him wanting. It feeds on light. It gorges on vision. And now, nothing is hidden. I see the worms beneath the floor, the rot in every soul, the lies pressed into the folds of skin. And I see you, reader, listener, breather of my tale. I see what hides in your bones, what you bury in smiles. The fourth mouth tells me to name it, to speak your shame aloud. But I won't. Not yet. Not until the fifth. Because the fifth mouth isn't a mouth. It's a door. And it's opening.
Mouths of the Crawling Mind, Part 5. The door with no inside. The fifth mouth was never a mouth. It was a door. Not one you walk through, one that walks through you. I saw it last night, not with my eyes, but with the hole behind my thoughts. It pulsed, it dripped, it breathed. A door made of skin, framed in bone. Hinges like tendons, a handle fashioned from teeth that used to be mine and opened inward, and the room went wet. I stepped in, of course.
What else could I do? There were no walls, only mirrors of meat, and each one remembered me. They showed every sin I swallowed, every corpse I created in thought, every twisted prayer I whispered into pillows, and in the center, the architect of crawling, the voice made flesh, the tongue without a god. It was made of mouths, made of disease, made of me. It didn't speak, it bled truth. And the fifth mouth opened in my chest. A vertical grin, teeth like tombstones. Each word it utters a swarm. I vomited rot, I bled language. I screamed until the scream gave birth, and the world cracked. The floor became lung, the ceiling throat, and reality collapsed inward like a dying breath. I don't exist anymore, I'm just a hymn now, a bloodied sermon that walks. The door is still open, I left it open for you. Come and join the choir, let your teeth fall like rain, let your skin remember fire, and when your fifth mouth opens, may it sing the name of the world's last day. May it scream your truth into the mouth of the void.
If this tale of evil stirred your soul and left your thoughts bleeding, if you crave more horrors whispered from the void, then strike that like button with a trembling hand and ring the bell to be summoned when new blood-curdling confessions are released. The darkness remembers those who listen. Let the darkness embrace your soul.